So always just keep an eye on that wall, because you kind of can't see anything until the wall clears. Beautiful. Especially with the tyres you've got as well, getting heat into them is going to be the biggest thing. Yep. Have you already brought the pressures up a bit?
Nah, I have them on 30 psi.
Yeah, so I'd be up closer to sort of 35.
You reckon?
Easy. Because you're just not getting that heat into the tyre to be able to get the advantage. And when it's underinflated, it actually just makes it worse.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I might do that for next session.
So yeah, if you start around 30, 35, and if they're getting up to around 38-ish when they're warm, that'd be bonza. Otherwise, you're just making harder work for yourself. How did you break the side mirror?
Trying to modify the indicator. Yeah, I tried to pull it out and I didn't apply the pressure and it just went.
I like your honesty, Rob. So try and keep those hands at that 9 and 3, because it means we always know where the wheels are pointed.
Yep.
And then when our vision, we look for that Marshall point on the exit, and we can start to open that steering up straight away. So it just makes it easy. It's one less thing we need to worry about.
Yeah, this one I'm still a bit.
No, you're good.
Wide or...
Well, it depends if you're looking at wet or dry, but in the dry, I want to bring the nose nice and close.
Yep.
And that way we can then come up the hill. But as I said, when it's this slippery as well, I mean, it's always a bit tricky, I think, whether you want to just practice a conventional line, and then if it dries out, you sort of know where you want to put the car, or whether you want to just drive to where the grip is. When it's this wet, a wet line makes a big difference.
Yeah.
So it just depends on what you want to get out of it. So same thing, nice and close to the left as we come past the Marshall point, and we can stay on the left-hand side as we come over the hill. Turn 10's really slippery, particularly in the mid-corner. You can see that big river running through there. So when it's this wet, even going a bit wider can help as well on the way in, because that water just sits there on the inside of the corner. What's super important is turn 12, easily the most important corner on the racetrack.
Yep.
Always make sure we're just past the end of the ripple strip before we turn in. So actually want to get to the end of the ripple strip and then nice and smooth on the turn in. Apex nice and close to the Marshall point. You can see where all the water's pooling in the middle, and that gives us a nice drive down the front straight. Minimal steering maximizes the stability, and you can see that crown in the road that Dean was talking about.
Yeah.
So particularly just being careful with overtaking in and letting people past you. If you roll out of the throttle, give them a bit of room, but you can really see the most grip's going to be down the middle of the road there. Keep it out nice and wide. That's it, nice and smooth. Tuck the nose in. Once you get close to that inside, you can again just let the car flow out to the left-hand side. So you can see you don't have to keep loading that steering up.
Yep. Yeah, you can feel it sort of want to take itself out.
Exactly, and that's what we want rather than fighting the car. Same thing with turn 2. If we hit that first apex, we'll come out nice and wide, but you see you can come up nice, close line for the second apex, and then same thing, open that steering, and you can feel it already driving out to the right-hand side. The more you keep turning, the harder the tyres got to work. Same thing, so stay nice and far on the right. As you come over the hill, minimise that steering. So then we get nice and close again to the Marshall point. You can feel you can bring the car in, and then see how little we have to turn the steering wheel.
Yep.
We always talk about less is more. People think there's a lot to do. We can minimise that, it helps. So look for that vision, looking at, that's it, much better. We make a nice late apex, open the steering up for the exit. Beautiful job. Nice work. Braking in a straight line, nice and smooth as we come off the brake. And again, looking all the way around, looking where that bridge is there, that's where we want to be, on the right-hand side under that bridge. So nice and close on the inside. Beautiful job. Feel that already you've got a bit more stability there?
Yeah.
Nice work, Rob. Really good. Now, because Hayshed's so fast, again, we need to be nice and smooth with the steering. So we can move from the right, that's beautiful. Flow it to the left where we're not fighting the car, and we can carry that speed through. Particularly as it dries out, you can really flatten through Hayshed nicely. Nice and close to the Marshall point on the left, up over the hill. Awesome job. Nice hard brake in a straight line. So this time, if you try a bit wider line,
Yeah.
see here we're avoiding that puddle a bit. Now you might find you actually get a bit more traction there.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
Yeah, and you'll feel that at different points too. The wet line when it's this slippery is a really big difference. So same thing, nice and smooth, end of the ripple strip, and then looking for that marshal point. What happens if you turn in too early, you carry lots of speed into the corner, but then you're not going to make it round the bend. You're going to push out towards the grass. Nice and straight, just under the M of the Melbourne sign. That's beautiful. Nice job. So see, we're already in the middle of the track here.
Yep.
So it's going to make this corner a lot tighter now. You can already feel there's more load in the car.
Yep.
So we always want to start out nice and wide, then just touch that apex in the middle and then let it flow wide again. As soon as you start turning in a bit too early, you'll move it over. So if we hit that first apex here, let the car flow. You're good, off the brakes fine. It'll come up nice and high. You'll see that same steering comes right back. We hit that second apex and then we just straighten the wheel. We can head straight out to the right-hand side. So let it flow all the way out. That's it, keep going, keep going, keep going. Up over the hill. That's it, nice and close to the marshal point. Good job, man. And then again, you can just let it flow to that sort of mid-track so you're not fighting the car so much. Awesome job. Much better hands, good vision on the corner, nice job. You can feel it's just starting to slide there a bit.
Yep.
So same thing, when it's this wet, if you try a wider line rather than that more conventional line, you might actually find there's a bit more grip. Same thing here, the exit of Siberia is pretty slippery. There's also the little marks on the road. It's quite slippery on the inside. Good if it's in the dry for that traditional line, but in the wet sometimes sticking around the outside actually can be a bit grippier. That's it, nice and smooth, looking all the way up the hill. Always look where you want to put the car. What's that?
Felt it move a bit then?
Yeah, for sure. And even here, when you start to brake and then come off the throttle, exactly like that, right? Because as soon as you come off the brake, the back of the car, the weight goes to the front,
yep.
and all of a sudden the back of the car is going to get loose right as you're turning. So it's a really common spot, so smooth with those inputs. So that's it, we stay on the outside, see what I mean? You can feel a bit more grip there. And golden rule on wet or dry, if you're sliding the car, if it starts to slide, don't try and be a hero and fix it. Jump on the brakes, get it under control, and then you'll have a much better day.
Yep.
You're all good. So see, we're a bit wide of the apex, it's already pushing you out a bit wide.
Yeah, yeah.
So vision's the key thing. If we keep looking for those reference points, the marshal point, a tyres, or whatever it might be, we're just targeting where do we want to put the car. So this time make sure we're staying on the left-hand side. Don't turn in too early. That's it, stay left, stay left, stay left, stay left. Little brake, nice and smooth. Now start to bring it in. And look at the ripple strip on the exit. That's where we want to put it. So I'm actually almost looking up towards turn 2. See that flow?
Yeah.
Rather than that tight line that we did the one before. Does that feel a bit better?
That feels a lot smoother.
So here's quite slippy as well. It's like we know, isn't it? Particularly mid-turn 2 and the exit of turn 2 is still really slippery. So again, you can just open that steering. You're doing a good job. So same thing, nice and wide for the start, then nice and close to that marshal point. And particularly in the dry as well, you can actually use a fair bit of this curve as you come through.
Yeah.
There's a good mix. There's quite a lot of the curves here are actually pretty flat, which is good. So if you try this wider line this time, instead of tucking it in conventionally, if we go wider, just to have a feel, you can feel how much more grip. So you can still use the power, get on the power on the exit. So you can actually, there's quite a bit of grip on the outside there. So as I said, it sort of depends what you want to learn, whether you practice that line or whether you want to feel the car slide a bit. Even here, it's already starting to shift a little bit. So if you came in there a little bit quicker, it'll already start to slide.
Yeah.
Again, Siberia, the outside when it's this wet might give you a bit more grip. But the good thing is you can feel it. You're picking up on what the car's telling you. That's really good. Nice and smooth, let it flow left. So as soon as you feel that car loading up, let it flow out that direction. Nice steady brake, and again, nice and smooth with the wheel so we don't get that slide happening. Better, nice job. Nice and close over the hill. So it's up to you whether you want to do a conventional line or that wider line. I think there's good grip on the outside still. Feels better there?
Yeah.
And that's why I love wet weather driving so much. It's not about going fast, you're learning. You can feel, because the car will have the same tendencies on a dry track at higher speed. It's just now we get to go a bit slower, but you're feeling the same thing. Much better, nice and close, and then let it flow out to the right. Beautiful job. See how little we've got to do with the wheel?
Yeah.
Awesome job, Rob, really good. Nice and straight down the middle. Nice job. Nice, squeeze the brakes. You see we move a bit early still, alright? So make sure we stay out nice and wide at the start.
Yep.
But you'll feel it straight away. Braking straight line, nice and smooth as we come off the brake. That's it, and you'll feel, like I said, you'll start to feel that slide.
There it is.
And that's okay. It's about that, just holding that throttle at the point just before it starts to slide. And if it's a little bit of a slide, that's okay. As I said, but if it starts to get away from you, just hit the brakes, point it where you want it to go. Much better over there, much better. Open that corner up, good job. So remember that racing drivers are always lazy. We want to do as little as we can, little as we have to.
Yep.
So again, maybe try that outside line, look for that exit, a bit more grip there. Start to squeeze it on the exit, squeeze it on, Pretty good there, right?
Pretty good.
Straight line here, and again, let's try this outside line a little bit more. So keep it a bit wider here.
Yep.
You can feel the car's not sliding there as much straight away. And then we can just tuck the nose in, push on the exit, squeeze it on. More power, more power, more power. It's pretty good there. The tricky bit is once it starts to dry out, which hopefully it does at some point today, as it starts to dry out, then we need to really focus on a more conventional line. But it's just, at the moment, it's just driving to where you've got grip. Nice steady brake, look for that Marshall point. Think about where you want to put the car. Good man. And you can see even a few laps in, we're only got 32 PSI in the tyres, so they're not coming up really much at all. So if we start around that 35, I think you'll feel a bit more grip out of these tyres as well. So see again, when we lift and then turn, it's just causing the car to rotate more. So nice and smooth with those inputs, let it flow out to the right. Wait for the end of that ripple strip and look for that Marshall point. So don't turn in yet, end of the ripple strip, now we can start to bring it in, otherwise you'll turn in too early. Nice and close to the ripple strip, and then it's a nice, just open the steering and we drive off the corner. Really good work, man. Car coming out, so just keep, it's alright, just keep an eye on it, that's alright, you're good. Beautiful. So stay nice and wide, braking in a straight line, and turn it in. Get the nose in nice and low, and then let it flow out to that exit on the left. Good job. Beautiful job. Braking in a straight line, thinking about that Marshall point at turn 2. We want to be nice and close to that point there. And again, it'll flow out, that's fine. Already that braking that we've got gives us that stability to turn there. Not asking too much of the tyre. Apex, open up the steering, squeeze that throttle on. Still slippy here, so be mindful. Better. Does that feel a bit better there?
Yeah.
Awesome job. Nice and wide, so stay out to the right. Marshall point on the inside, nice and smooth on the steering. And then you can let it flow mid-track here. Once you hit that apex, you can let it flow out, so you don't have to fight it so much. So again, if you want to try that wider line as well, means you can brake a bit later because we're coming in a bit deeper. Feel where that grip is, and then once you feel it, open the steering, give it a bit of a squeeze on the exit. Much better grip on the outside there. Same thing at Siberia. If you want to try that wider line again, feel where that grip is. And then we can just tuck the nose in before the exit, push it up the hill, out to the right. There's still that little wheel spin we got last time. Just that little bump can cause enough wheel spin. Eyes forward, you're all good behind. Nice and smooth on the steering. Look up the hill for where you want to put the car. Again, it's those little bumps that can make it just feel a bit slippy there as well. Smooth inputs here. Thinking about that marshal point, you want to be nice and close up there. And again, having a think as we come over the hill, do you want to do the wider line or do you want to do a conventional line and tuck the nose in? What we'll do is just hug to the left of turn 11 here, and I'll point these guys round us. So just stay on the left hand side. We'll let these guys go round. Just at that speed, we'll just let the beamer go as well. And then after the beamer, you're all good. And you can pick it up again from the end of that ripple strip. Nice job, Rob. Nice manners and awareness, that makes a big difference. So see your lift there, see the slide.
Yeah.
Right, and that was just because the line was different and the lift, right?
Yeah.
That's what I mean. People, once it feels smooth, we tell ourselves, oh, I'm okay. But a little change, a little aggressive on the steering, or too hard on the brake, or a bit of a line difference, straight away you go, I don't have the grip there.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's changing all the time. So we'll come in at turn 4, nice and smooth here, and I'll show you the difference. So when you come into turn 2 this time, we're not going to be going fast, but I want you to turn the wheel quickly, right? It'll slide, I'm giving you notice, but just so we can feel it. So we come into the corner. So if we come here, just turn hard left, straight away, right? Yeah. How much of a difference is that? So if we're nice and smooth, we've got that grip, just the grip's just not there. So as soon as you just turn the wheel a bit quick, you're going to be like, whoa, right? So a lot of people think that we're like, drive slow. It's not that, the grip's just not there, right? And that's a good thing, especially on you know, coming back in, you've got room, have a bit of a play. There's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, if it gets away, just smash the brake pedal. But it's cool to feel it moving around a bit, you know? It's not suddenly going to just spear off the road. The car's going to tell you all the time, that early little slide or a bit of a push, sometimes the vibration just from the wheel starting to, the tyre starting to move. But really good job. Feel good?
Yeah, it feels good.
Did well, man. That's a good slide at turn 2.
Trying to get the confidence with these tyres in this weather. It's a bit tricky.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. All you can ever do is drive to the grip that you have, right?
Yeah.
So rather than trying to think about driving fast, just focus on that nice smooth driving, being nice and predictable with what you're doing. You've already felt, if I do a big lift off and turn, the weight goes to the front. It's like pulling the handbrake basically, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But
lift off oversteer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But try bring those pressures up, and I'd start them easily at 35. If we start to get the day drying out a bit, we can start backing them off a bit, but definitely have them a bit higher than that, because you'll feel them even when we jump out. They're not going to have a whole lot of heat in them.
Yeah.
Nice job. You heaps on the left, you're all good. Nice job.
Awesome.
Nice to officially meet you and go out for a drive, man.
It's good to get 2 different people's point of view as well.
Yeah, thanks for looking after me too.
I reckon these are the only cars that should be going out.